both my online and offline kids interacting, mainly through online discussions, guided practice, and critical thinking. Let's talk about it. So, one option for online discussions would be Parlay. Parlay is a super great online discussion because number one, it gives your students anonymity. So it gives your students like some sort of a historical figure name, like Jane Austen or, George Washington something. So nobody knows who's who unless they just tell each other. But it also allows for them to be their true selves, to say, well, I agree with Donald Trump or I disagree with Donald Trump in a forum where nobody can really say, well, I can't stand student A because he said this. Discussions can be asynchronous or live, so it allows them to comment on the post if you do an asynchronous post, they can comment whenever they comment up until whenever you set the time limit. It allows for you to give guided feedback. So it's going to ask you or give you like a rubric or questions to say, you didn't do this, or hey, I saw that and I liked it. And you can create the rubric or it will create a rubric for you. You can even like highlight or like exemplary responses. Parlay also gives you a summary at the end to help you see students' interaction with the discussion to see if they actually commented, posted, liked, entered, whatever. It's good because regardless of whether you're live or asynchronous, in person, virtual, or somewhere in between, you can have a discussion going on and get students interacting with their peers. And again, teach them how to agree to disagree, how to disagree positively. So one of the ones I did on Parlay was, how do you feel about Donald Trump versus Joe Biden? And, surprisingly, I had some students who say, well, I can see, keep in mind this was after they had done research on both of their platforms to see what they believe. So Nearpod is very similar. It gives them that cloak of anonymity as well. It's not as robust as Parlay, but it is a very simple, cute way. You can show it on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or whatever you're on. You just put up a collaboration board. It doesn't give them a persona or a pseudonym. It just doesn't say who's talking. Both your virtual and in-person students can get on there and contribute. They can also like responses. You as the teacher can like responses. And again, because it's anonymous, you can go into the student view, showcase a response, and ask students, what do you think about this? And how do you feel about that? And again, teach that kind of digital citizenship. So we did that a lot in my economics class, where I would ask them, which particular economic system do you agree with more? A command economy, a mixed economy, what? And so they, each told me which one they liked and why, and certain students would like it. And so it created this dialogue. Another option is a Google Classroom question. You can put up a Google Classroom question on Google Classroom. What's great about Google Classroom is it will not allow students to see what their friends are saying until they've posted their response. Why is that good? Because you'll have kids kind of just piggyback off another. Well, I don't know. I haven't read the material. I haven't watched the instructional video. So I'll just say what such and such said. But Google Classroom doesn't really allow for that. And they can reply to each other. And again, it teaches them that kind of digital citizenship. So I had a lot of that go on when I asked them about the legalization of marijuana. In Mississippi at the time, it was on the ballot and it did pass for medical marijuana. And so you had some kids quoting scripture and saying, well, I don't agree with this because of this. And then you had some students saying, well, there's a separation of church and state and this and that. And so it got ugly, but I used it to teach them how to dialogue, how to disagree and debate and still maintain friendship. Those are some ways you can have interaction between your online and offline students. Hopefully you learned something in this video. Feel free to reach out via Instagram or Facebook, and let me know.